Okay, let's go, guys. Today we are talking about movers and shakers. What are movers and shakers? Movers and shakers are people who changed the world, people who did something very special and they changed the world somehow. Okay, here on these 2 pages, we have the examples. For example, here we have Galileo Galilei, we have Elvis Presley, we have Susan B. Anthony. So it's a reading activity basically, right? Confucius, okay? So the first part of this lesson, um, they ask us if we have a hero or a heroine. So do you have anybody that you admire? You admire a lot. Think about it. So here they ask, is he or she in the world of art, politics, entertainment, style, science, or sports? We usually admire athletes, right? Science. Okay, good. Who do you admire? Yeah, I admire a philosopher called Yuval Noah Harari. He is from Israel. He's a great philosopher. And I also admire a neuroscientist. His name is Miguel Nicoleles. He's Brazilian. He's a great guy. Okay. So who do you admire, Bruna? All right, I can give you some time to think about it, right? You can tell me later, no problem. So, read the introduction to movers and shakers. Look at the pictures of the 4 people and then write down anything you know about each person, okay? So, let's take a look at the introduction first. Let's see this together. Look, it's really hard to imagine that what we now believe to be true wasn't always so. There was a time when people believed the earth was flat. Yes, that's true. Every now and then, someone comes along with new ideas. Ann Wilson profiles 5 people who left the world a different place. Yes, that's true. So here we have 5 people who changed the world somehow. Okay, and here we have on the first page this guy here, Confucius. I think you've heard of him before. On the other page we have Galileo Galilei, right? Then we have a guy in the music business, Elvis Presley. We have this woman, Susan B. Anthony, okay? And we'll see a little bit about each one of them. What have they done, right? And nowadays, there are so many important people, like, for example, in the world of technology, we have Steve Jobs, Bill Gates, right? And so many others. They will be in history forever. So let's do number 3. We are going to read, of course, about the people, and after that, we'll discuss some questions. Um, let's see how many we can answer, right? The first one, who among the people from the reader? Oh, already. Oh, okay, Bruna, no problem. Don't worry. I'm glad you're here. Yes, of course. Sure, you can send me your answer later. That's okay, no problem. Okay, don't worry. So we can discuss all this later. That's okay. Make sure you replace your classes, okay? All right, Bruninha, thank you. So, um, let's work it out, people. How many of these questions can you answer? All right. Okay. So, From the texts that we are going to read, who is known simply as the king? Who was the most prominent women's rights leader in the United States? Who is referred to as the father of modern science? And who is known as the great master? So let me clear the annotations here so that you can read better. Let me just erase this part. Oh, let me do better. Just a second. Let me clear the page. Okay. All right. Now it's much better. Okay, can you visualize the questions better now? So the first question is, who is known simply as the king? Who was the most prominent women's rights leader in the United States? Who is referred to as the father of modern science? And who is known as the great master? Read the four texts quickly to check, only so you can get these answers. All right. So for that, I'll give you, let's see, um, 5 minutes. Okay. So 5 minutes is a long time. Do you think so? Mm, let's see. Now it's 5:19. So I'll give you 3 minutes to take a look at the texts quickly, just to skim the texts and get the answers to those four questions. All right. I'll set up my alarm here for 3 minutes and then you can start. Okay, let's do this. All right, let's go. Okay, guys. Yes, have you finished? Okay. So let's see if you got the answers. As you noticed, I marked because you see, it wasn't even necessary to read all the texts. I just highlighted the information we needed. Okay, so let's see what you got for the first one. Who is known simply as the King? Yes, Elvis Presley. Okay, good. The King. All right. Okay. Now, number two. Who was the most prominent women's rights leader in the United States? Yes, Susan B. Anthony. Okay. Mhm. Who is referred to as the father of modern science? Galileo Galilei. Okay. And who was known as the great master? Confucius. Okay. Confucius. Confucius. Let me see if I spelled it right. Confucius. Yes, it's right. Let me see if I wrote Galileo Galilei correctly. I think so. Let me try that again. Just a second. Let me see. Yes, it's okay. Galileo Galilei Galileo. Okay, let me try that again. Just a moment. Just a moment. Galileo. Let me just write better here. Just a second. All right, now it's correct. Okay, guys. So perfect. And you see, it wasn't even necessary to read everything. Okay. All right. Now, with a partner, choose one of the texts and answer the questions. Now we can be more specific, right? The questions are, what century did he or she live in? Sorry. What was his or her area of activity? What was an important year for him or her? Why? Why were his or her ideas opposed? And what did he or she say? And what did others say about him or her? And that's it. So 5 questions for us to get information from. And in this case, we need to read. So we need to get the details, okay? So can I clear the annotations here? Yes? Okay. So let me clear that. Okay, good. So let's choose one of the texts here. Who do you want to read about? All right. Okay, we can read about Galileo Galilei, or you can read about Susan or Elvis, whoever you want to. Yes? So, okay, let's do Galileo Galilei then. All right. So, let's see. To get the information you need, I'll give you, um, now it's 5:26. I'll give you 4 minutes. Okay? Let me set up the timer for 4 minutes. All right. You can start. Okay, yes, can we correct? So I've already started putting down some answers here. So what century did he live in? Yes, the 17th century. What was his area of activity? Science. Yes. I think he was an astronomer or a physicist. What was an important year for him? 1633, according to the text here. Yes, they say that in 1633 he was found guilty of heresy and spent the final years of his life imprisoned in his own home. So that was a very important year for him. Okay, so 1633. So let's put it there. 1633. Okay. Why? Because he was found guilty of heresy, because he believed that the earth wasn't the center of the universe, but the sun was. Why were his ideas opposed? Because of the church, right? The church didn't believe that the sun was the center of the universe. The church thought that it was against the scriptures that the sun was the center. So, in their opinion, the earth was the center. That's why he was judged and sentenced to prison, right? What did he say? So let's see there. We have here, he said, all truths are easy to understand once they are discovered. The point is to discover them. So let's try to say that using reported speech, okay? So he said that all truths were easy to understand once they were discovered. The point was to discover them. We put them in the simple past, okay? Okay, let's go, okay? And what did others say about him or her? What did others say about him? Let's see. They said the proposition that the sun is in the center of the world is absurd, philosophically false, and heretical. It is contrary to the Holy Scriptures. So they said that the proposition that the sun was in the center of the world was absurd, philosophically false, and heretical. It was contrary to Holy Scriptures. Okay, so we just have to backshift the verb. Okay, all right, let's check out the answers, guys, so we can make sure everything is okay. Let me clear this first of all, okay, and let's show the answers to that. All right, okay, there you go. Here we have his area of expertise. Look, the year. Look, his ideas were opposed because they were considered dangerous by the church. Okay. He said that the truth is easy to understand when you have found it, but the point is to discover the truth yourself. So here, they only backshifted the second part, because when you're talking about something that is always true, you don't need to backshift, okay? His opponents said that his ideas were wrong, ridiculous, and against the Bible. This is another way to say it. Okay, guys. Yes, this is about Susan B. Anthony. Okay, so All right. Okie dokie, people. But that's okay. Only about Galileo Galilei is enough, right? We don't need to do about the others, but that's okay. So, how did each of the people change the world? How did Galileo Galilei, for example, change the world? What do you think? Yeah, he was very brave because he was totally against the church, right? What prevailing ideas did they challenge? The concept of the earth, yes, not being the center of the universe. Yes, that's right. What happened as a result? Yeah, he spent the final years of his life in prison. Yes, that's true. So let's check it out here. Okay. He encouraged people to think in a scientific way. Number two, the idea that the earth was the center of the universe and the sun revolved around it. And number three, people started to look at the world in a more scientific way. Okay, so that is something that people started doing after Galileo Galilei because he was really, really brave. You know, just by going against the church, wow, that was very brave, right? Okay, guys, that was nice. That was really good. If you want, you can read all the other texts and then we can check some vocabulary, okay, words that you may not know, okay? Just to finish, we have some other considerations here. What mover and shaker would you add from your country? I would add Miguel Nicolelis for sure, because he's a neuroscientist who created an exoskeleton to help people who are not able to walk again, um, have hope of walking again, even if it's with a machine, but it's a way for us to have more freedom. So he was able to create something that will give people more freedom, especially the ones who are crippled for life without any hope of walking. So that's a nice thing to do. Yes. Okay. And how did other people react to his ideas? Yeah, it was in a very positive way. Yeah, sure. Everybody kind of liked his idea. He even wrote a book about it. Yeah, there is a book about neuroscience, yes, that he wrote. He's famous. I guess he's even more famous outside of Brazil than here in Brazil. Yes. Okay, guys. So let's zoom out so we can see what we talked about today. Okay, so today, guys, it was very quick. We saw the reading part, okay, about movers and shakers, which are important people, people who made um, changes in the world, people who did something important in the world. We can try and read the other texts if you wish, right? We can read about Elvis Presley or Susan B. Anthony, right? Or we can try and move on to the next page. I would also like to focus on the topic of this unit because the last unit of the book is a little bit tricky because it talks about reported speech, okay? So let me go back here to our page on Google Classroom. Look, we are talking about reporting verbs, ways of speaking. And some exercises that I posted here for you to do are really important. So I hope you can do them. right? Whenever you have a chance. And also try to update your exercises on the book, okay? Page 79 and page 81. Those are really important, okay? So let's go back there. And if you wish, you can do the reading of the other texts later on, all right? You can read about Confucius, and you can also read about Elvis and Susan, okay? Let's move on a little bit further and start with the listening part. What the papers say. Hmm, that's interesting. Okay, can you see the headlines here? The newspaper headlines. Yes. Which news source in your country has the best reputation? What do you think? Which one do you usually read? O Globo? Okay. Which one is the most popular? Extra, for example. Which one is the best for sports? And which one is the best for entertainment? So, do you believe everything you read in the news? Yeah, you shouldn't, right? Do you think some stories are made more sensational? Yes, by all means, they are, for sure. Yes, unfortunately, they are. So, let's take a look at this interview here. We're going to listen to an interview with the singer Jamie Seabrook, and then we'll answer some questions after each part. So as you can see, there is a picture, right? And you can see a profile of a singer. And let's take a look at the first questions we are supposed to answer. Let's see the first one. What are some of the highs and lows of Jamie's career? Number two, what was he doing in Texas? Number three, what does he like about all the media attention he gets? What doesn't he like about it? And number four, what does he think of reporters? So let's listen and try to answer.
Track 45. What the Papers Say. Part 1.
And now for my final guest. He's a singer and songwriter who's been in the music business for 20 years. He still performs sellout concerts in front of 50,000 people. But his life hasn't all been easy. He's had problems with his family, and he's been in trouble with the law. And he's just completed a month's rehab in a clinic in Texas. He's never out of the headlines. Please welcome Jamie Seabrook.
Hello. Good evening.
Now, Jamie, you are in the newspapers and magazines every day. You are photographed wherever you go. Tell me, what do you think of the press?
Well, it's kind of nice to have people want to know all about me. Sometimes it gets to be too much, but most of the time I don't mind the media attention. I'm sure there are some reporters who really try to tell the truth, but I'm afraid that most of them make up stories to sell their newspapers.
Are you saying that the stories aren't true at all?
That's right. They're completely invented.
Can you give us an example?
Hi, Larissa. Hey, welcome, dear. Good to see you. Yay.
Time.
Super welcome. All right.
Was
Okay, I know. We're doing page 96, okay? Exercise number 3, okay? So you can follow that. I will start again. I will play again the listening for you, okay?
Okay.
We are listening to this part and trying to answer these questions here, okay?
Track 45. What the Papers Say. Part 1.
And now for my final guest. He's a singer and songwriter who's been in the music business for 20 years. He still performs sellout concerts in front of 50,000 people. But his life hasn't all been easy. He's had problems with his family, and he's been in trouble with the law. And he's just completed a month's rehab in a clinic in Texas. He's never out of the headlines. Please welcome Jamie Seabrook.
Hello. Good evening.
Now, Jamie, you are in the newspapers and magazines every day. You are photographed wherever you go. Tell me, what do you think of the press?
Well, it's kind of nice to have people want to know all about me. Sometimes it gets to be too much, but most of the time I don't mind the media attention. I'm sure there are some reporters who really try to tell the truth, but I'm afraid that most of them make up stories to sell their newspapers.
Are you saying that the stories aren't true at all?
That's right. They're completely invented.
Can you give us an example?
Sure I can. I can give you hundreds.
Part 2.
2 years ago,
Okay, we are just supposed to listen to part 1 now, okay? So we can try to answer the first questions here. First one, what are some of the highs and lows of Jamie's career? Okay, so let's see right in the beginning there. Here the interviewer says, and now for my final guest, he is a singer and songwriter who's been in the music business for 20 years. He still performs sellout concerts. Sellout concerts are concerts that all the tickets are sold, okay? In front of 50,000 people, but his life hasn't all been easy. And then the person starts listing some of his problems, okay? He's had problems with his family, he's been in trouble with the law, and he's just completed a month's rehab in a clinic in Texas. He's never out of the headlines, okay? Headlines are these news that we get on the front cover of newspapers, okay? So then after saying this, giving this introduction, the person goes, please welcome Jamie Seabrook. All right. So here, the highs and lows of his career, basically, okay, he's had some problems with probably drugs or alcohol, and but he's never out of headlines, right? Of the headlines. And the interviewer goes, now, Jamie, you're in the newspapers and magazines every day. You're photographed wherever you go. Tell me, what do you think of the press? Okay, so what do you think, Larissa, is the life of a person who is famous and who is photographed wherever they go? Do you think this is a good life? Probably not.
If he likes,
Yeah, the person has to like, because it must be very boring, right? I don't think it's a good thing to do anyway, but
you lose your liberty, your freedom.
yeah, you lose your freedom, of course. Yes, totally. Okay. So then they ask about reporters and if he believes, if he likes the media interruption in his life or the media talking about his life all the time. So he says, sometimes it gets to be too much, but most of the time I don't mind the media attention. So he doesn't mind. okay, all the attention he gets. So basically, he doesn't really mind so much, okay, Larissa? So that's okay, not much of a problem for him, okay? So let's just check out the answers for that first part, just for us to summarize everything. So, look, he's been in the business for 20 years. He performs sellout concerts, so that's something positive for him. He's had problems with his family. He's been in trouble with the law. Okay, everything we've mentioned. Okay. Number three, he doesn't mind media attention. He says it's nice that people know or want to know all about him. He says that some reporters try to tell the truth, but most of them make up stories to sell their newspapers. Unfortunately, that's what happens, but that's okay, right? Now, let's try to see the second part. Part two, they want us to complete the chart with the following information. What did they say about him? And what did he say about reporters, ex-friends, police officers, and Barbara James? Okay, so let's listen to the second part.
Track
Try to get that.
45. What the Papers Say. Part 1.
And now for my final guest. He's a singer and songwriter who's been in the music business for 20 years.
I'm going to play part one again, okay, Larissa, so you know what's going on and you can know more about him, so we can go to part two, okay? But that's okay, don't worry.
He still performs sellout concerts in front of 50,000 people. But his life hasn't all been easy. He's had problems with his family, and he's been in trouble with the law. And he's just completed a month's rehab in a clinic in Texas. He's never out of the headlines. Please welcome Jamie Seabrook.
Hello. Good evening.
Now, Jamie, you are in the newspapers and magazines every day. You are photographed wherever you go. Tell me, what do you think of the press?
Well, it's kind of nice to have people want to know all about me. Sometimes it gets to be too much, but most of the time I don't mind the media attention. I'm sure there are some reporters who really try to tell the truth, but I'm afraid that most of them make up stories to sell their newspapers.
Are you saying that the stories aren't true at all?
That's right. They're completely invented.
Can you give us an example?
Sure I can. I can give you hundreds.
Part 2.
2 years ago, reporters said my career was finished and that I'd never sing again. Some friends, who are now ex-friends, said that my marriage was breaking up and that my brother and I argued about money and weren't speaking to each other. Not one word of that was true.
And in fact, your career is on a high.
I just recorded a new album and my marriage is fine. Sally and I just celebrated our 15th wedding anniversary, and my brother and I get along just fine.
But things haven't all been easy for you. You spent a month in rehab because police officers said that you had a nervous breakdown.
All that's just lies. I've never had a nervous breakdown. I was driving home from the recording studios and it was 2 o'clock in the morning and I'd been working all day and I was exhausted. I fell asleep at the wheel and police officers asked me to stop the car. I checked into a clinic for a month because I was suffering from exhaustion.
Now, you had another legal problem recently. Your personal assistant, Barbara James, said you hadn't paid her for 6 months, and you made her work 7 days a week without a break. Is that true?
It broke my heart when Barbara, my PA, said those things about me. I treated her like my own family. When I met her, she was nothing, and I gave her everything. None of what she says is true.
Part 3.
All right. Bunch of gossips, right? So it's, yeah, a lot of information there. So let's see, what did they say about him? Let's see, starting here. So what did they say about him? What did the reporter say about him? First, they said that his career was finished. Yes, and that he'd never sing again. Yes. And then down a little bit here, some friends, now ex-friends, said that
Marriage.
his marriage was breaking up. Okay. And that his brother and him had argued about money. Mm-hmm. All right. Another situation. So then the police officers, what did the police officers say?
He spent a mouth and he had.
Yes, they said that he had spent a month in rehab because he had a nervous breakdown. So the police officer says that he had had a nervous breakdown. And what about Barbara James? What did she say?
He doesn't pay.
Yes, she said, yes, here. She said he hadn't paid her for 6 months, right? That's a long time. Hey, Mateos. Hey, good to see you. Hi. How nice to see you. Oh, that's good, Mateos. Hi. So, yes, so Barbara James is accusing him of not paying her. So then she says here, look, she said she hadn't paid her for 6 months, right? And that he made her work 7 days a week without a break. Okay, but that's totally wrong. Okay, now let's listen to part 3. Of course, he denied everything, he denied all those lies. Okay. So before we continue there, let me take a picture of both of you there. So just a second. Okay, just a second, guys. Let me save this. Now let's see the second part. Guys, this exercise is just for us to have an extra practice on reported speech. What did he say? What did she say? And, this is only something extra on the same topic of the last unit, which is reported speech. Okay, so nothing more than that. Just save here. Okay. All right. Great. So now let's listen to part 3 and let's see what we need to do here. Part 3, we should say, how has Jamie's life changed? And why has he changed his attitude to life? What did the news anchor refuse to do? Why? And how does Jamie reply? What does he say about himself? So let's listen to that.
I read that you have become a Buddhist, that you have stopped eating meat, that you spend 4 hours a day meditating, and that you are going to give half your future income to charity. Is this true?
Yes, it is. I've decided that life is too short and I'm getting old. I don't care what people think. I made up my mind to do something useful with my life.
Now, when this story broke a few days ago, the news anchor on NBC's Morning News refused to read the story, saying that there were much more serious stories that deserved attention, and that you were just a celebrity. What do you say to that?
I can't control what the press says about me. I have to be true to myself. I live my life as honestly as I can. I try to be nice to everyone around me. If you're in the public eye, then you have to be prepared to have some pretty terrible things said about you. I know what's true about me and what's a lie, but I can't change what is said about me in the newspapers and on the television.
Well, sadly, our time has run out and we've come to the end of the show. A big thank you to my guest, Jamie Seabrook, and good luck with the new album.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
All right. So, how has Jamie's life changed? Here you
He
can see that.
became Buddhist. A
Yes,
Buddhist.
that's yeah, a Buddhist. Yeah, that's true. He became a Buddhist. Yeah, he has become a Buddhist and he has stopped eating meat. Yes. And now he spends 4 hours a day meditating. Wow, that's a big change, right? Yes. And why has he changed his attitude to life?
Because he's getting older and the life is short.
Yeah,
Short.
life is too short. Yes, that's true. So this is something that a lot of people decide to do when they realize that life is really short and they start getting old. They change some things, right? And what did the news anchor refuse to do? When this news story broke a few days ago, the news anchor on NBC's Morning News refused to read the story. So, why?
Refused é tipo apreensivo, não sei, esqueci o que é refused.
Refused, he said, no, I don't want to read this story. Okay? He said, no, I don't want to read this story because there were much more serious stories that deserved attention. So he was like, no, I'm not going to read about this guy, you know? So imagine the news anchor, okay, he can decide which news story he will read. So he decided not to read about his story, okay, because he thought, oh, he's just a celebrity. Why am I going to read about a celebrity? Okay. So, how does Jamie reply to that? How does he reply? What is his attitude towards the anchor's opinion?
He said he can't control what the anchors, né?
Yes, what the anchor says. Mhm. He has to be true to himself. Yes, of course. Okay. So, what does he say about himself? That he lives his life as honestly as he can. Yes. And one important thing he says, and this is something that I really believe, he says here, if you are in the public eye, then you have to be prepared to have some pretty terrible things said about you. Yes, there are haters, there are people who don't like you, and they will make sure you know it. Okay? So, and you don't need to be famous. You don't need to be famous for that. Anybody, anybody is exposed to haters and to people who don't like you. So it's normal. Okay, guys. So I think he has a very good attitude towards life. He knows that. Okay. So what is the most important thing here? There is a very interesting phrase he uses when he says, I don't mind or I don't care. Look at these sentences from the interview. When he says, I don't mind the media attention, or I don't care what people think. So I don't mind, it means it doesn't upset me. I'm easygoing. I'm okay about it. It's a very nice expression, okay? Or when you say, I don't care, it means that other people's opinions aren't important to me, okay? There is something important to see here. Careful. This can sometimes sound rude, or it can mean that you don't have a strong opinion about something. So be careful about it, okay? So let me just erase this part here. So you have to be careful that it can mean that you don't have a strong opinion about something, okay? So I don't mind, okay, it doesn't upset me, but I don't care can be rude, all right? You have to know how to use it. So reply to these sentences with I don't mind or I don't care. So let me clear this. Just a second. All right, let's do this. Number one, tea or coffee? Whatever you're making.
I don't mind.
I don't mind, whatever you're making. Yes. Okay. Or I don't mind or I don't care. Here, I don't mind, it doesn't upset me, or I don't care. What do you think? Which opinion I think you should give here? Because the person is offering you tea or coffee. So how can you best answer this?
Because I don't mind is best.
Yeah, I don't mind. It's okay for me. It's okay, whatever, right? Oh, I don't mind, whatever you're making. All right. So, number two, sorry, I can't have lunch with you today. Oh, that's okay. I'm actually
I
really
don't
busy.
care.
I don't care. Okay. I don't care. I'm actually really busy at work today. Okay. So we should be very careful, right? When we say I don't care. Okay. Because it can be rude. Number three.
Ah,
Yeah. If somebody says, sorry, I can't have lunch with you today, then you say, oh, that's okay. I don't care.
no, if I don't like this answer, I will say I don't care.
Yeah. In this case, yes, right? Now, number three, what should we do today? I'm happy doing whatever. So here you are very flexible. Whatever you
I
choose,
don't mind.
yeah, whatever you choose is okay for me. And number four, she's so upset.
I don't care.
Yeah,
That's her problem.
that's her problem. Yeah, here it's I don't care, really. Okay. So, yeah. Okay, look, these are the best options. Okay. So I don't care, whatever you're making, these are the best options. The second one, oh, I don't mind. I'm actually really busy at work today. So here it's better to use I don't mind. If you say I don't care, it's rude, okay? Here in number three, I don't care. I'm happy doing whatever. So I don't care. It would be like, oh, tanto faz. Okay. I think it would be better for us to understand like this. Okay. Oh, tea or coffee. Ah, I don't care. Whatever. Okay. Now here in number four, yes, you are being rude, but then you mean it, okay? Oh, she's so upset. Then you say, I don't care, that's her problem. So here you really mean to be rude. okay? But in number 1 and in number 3, the idea here is whatever, okay? You choose, you decide. Okay, this is something that you want to say that you are flexible. So if you want to say that whatever the person decides, so you say, I don't care. But now here in number 2, the person is saying sorry. The person is going to postpone something or call off something important, an arrangement. So don't say, I don't care. That's rude. It's better to say, oh, I don't mind. I don't mind. It means it's okay. It's okay. All right. I'm actually really busy at work today. So don't worry. It's okay. All right.
All right.
All right, people. So it's better to say this than being rude. All right, people. Okay, guys. So I think that's okay for today. So today, actually, we did a lot of things. We worked on movers and shakers. So if you missed the first part, you can watch the first part of the video and see pages 94 and 95. Okay. And you got the last part of the video. Then we did page 96 as well. So back to our page on Google Classroom. I just put here 94 and 95, but I will update here the information and I will put here this extra page that we did today, 96, because then we can advance the closing of our book, okay? So the homework for today, guys, is going to be, let me show you now what it's going to be like. The homework is going to be the worksheets I posted about reported speech, okay? As you can see here, hopefully you can see that, yes. And the workbook pages, okay, if you have the book. If you don't have the book, try to do the worksheets I posted. This will help you practice reported speech. All right, people? So thank you so much for coming today. And if you missed the first part of the class, try to watch the video so you can get the first part, which was about movers and shakers. Movers and shakers, I put here, these are people who change the world, people who make a difference, okay? So they talked about some important people in history. All right? Okay, Laricinha, okay, Mateus. Bruna was here in the beginning, right? So she was here in the beginning. She's also working. So she was during her break at work. So she managed to come today. Okay. So it was very nice to have you today, guys. I was very happy to see you here. Hope to see you again next week. Oh, very important, guys. One very important thing. Don't forget to replace the classes you missed, okay? Watch the videos of the classes you missed, do the activities and send me the picture, okay?
Okay.
Bye-bye, Mateus. Bye-bye, Laricinha. Take care. See you next class. Bye-bye. See you. Bye.